I believe that Gem of True Sight and Visage may be one of the strongest and most overlooked vision control combinations in Dota. Visage can safely deward from the edge of Gem's detection radius while remaining hidden with Smoke of Deceit, reliably escape failed deward attempts with Shard and Blink, create stronger warding locations by breaking trees with familiars, and become even harder to catch after purchasing Aghanim Scepter. The amount of vision control he provides may be unmatched by any other hero, and the strategy appears viable regardless of whether Visage is played as a support or as a core. In the first clip, you're going to see me use Smoke of Deceit and have Gem in my inventory and effectively just send my birds up to the cliff to deward each of the Sentry and the Observer that are on this cliff. In this context, considering Visage isn't actually invisible because he used Smoke of Deceit, the enemy heroes will not be able to see him. Effectively, all they could see is the birds themselves if they're paying attention to their minimap. And then directly after this play, what I end up doing is placing a ward in a spot that might not necessarily be ideal, considering the fact that there's trees that are blocking the vision of the ward that's placed on the ground, but you can immediately use Visage's familiars to break the trees that are in that area to provide a more expansive field of view for any observers that you place. This also works for sentries too, if you want to place them in a more ideal spot. You can effectively just break the tree that's there that's blocking wherever you want to place a sentry, and it gives you a wider field of view in the context of where the sentries can be placed in a more ideal location. In the second clip, what I'll be showing you is that effectively Visage has a get out of jail free card, and in this context, whenever he is taking damage by any sources, say if you're trying to go deward at cliff and it's an unideal situation where the enemy ambushes you, effectively all you have to do is drop yourself in your shard form. It buys you 6 seconds of invulnerability, which means that in any circumstances you will always have Blink Dagger available to use immediately afterwards. In this context, you can reliably use it to blink away, even if there's damage over time abilities. Basically any ability that's in that context, and you can always reliably blink out. In the last clip, what I'll show you is that you can actually get into more ideal warding locations just by having the basic Q without even having your Aghanim Scepter for the invisibility. All you need is a Smoke of Deceit, and you can get behind enemy lines to place deep Observer wards and sentries for that matter. I started using this build on Visage when I discovered on DotaBuff as well as a number of other sources online. They each showed that Visage's win rate with Gem in particular was the highest at that point in time in the entire game. At the moment when I was looking through all the records, it showed about 92% win rate on this character specifically. And I found that rather kind of shocking at the time, but considering the changes to Gem for other characters that have also increased their win rates as well, I do believe that Gem is probably the most broken item in the entire game, as long as you're playing on a survivable hero. Currently, when I'm looking through the win rates, heroes that tend to buy Shivas as well as Gleipnir tend to have the highest win rates across the board. So Centaur, Dawnbreaker, Necrophos, Primal Beast, Enigma, basically any of these heroes that have some form of AoE boost in their ability to clear vision from a distance, usually are the ones that tend to succeed. Slark is also always a notable hero that's towards the top, and I think that Slark technically is the only hero that's really comparable to Visage in its ability to deward effectively by using vision games to their advantage. And so in this context, I firmly believe that Gem is actually one of the most busted items in the game, and I think that pros should start to use it more in general. And I think that if you're playing on characters that do have the level of survivability that matters within this game, if you do have this item, effectively you can turn it lights out in a game. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, and let me know if you want to see any more videos like this. Alright, peace.